Yes, welcome back to another video. Where does the future of Kyle Walker lie? That is the topic of today's video. Now, I had a look at some of his stats, or just his overviews, before we hit record on this video. He's 32 years of age now. It seems like he's been around forever, Kyle Walker. And something that stood out to me a lot more was he's only made 23 appearances in all competitions this season for Manchester City, which is absolutely staggering considering how reliable he has been for so many years. Now, obviously, we've had the introduction, the big introduction of Rico Lewis this season. He has proved he is at least capable of playing at this level, and people are touting him to be the future right back of Manchester City. Where do we stand with Kyle Walker, lads? Do we want to give him a new contract? I've seen City are hesitant to give him a new one. Should we give him one? What do we think?
Well, he's contracted until the end of next season, right? So he's going to be 33 at the end of this season. His birthday is in May, so he'll be 33. At the end of next season, he'll be 34. So he'll be 34 at the end of his contract. In my personal opinion, I would be looking at offering Kyle Walker a new deal. And I'd probably be looking at extending that contract by 1 year, because then he'll be 35 at the end of that contract. I just think that the way that this team is playing and the way that Kyle Walker plays in this side at the moment, he's not the Kyle Walker like he was at Tottenham, right? Where he used to bomb up and down the wings. And he does that now as well for England sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes he bombs up and down the wings. He doesn't rely on his pace as much. He does rely on his pace defensively, but it's only really in the massive games that he does, because, 90% of the matches that we played, we dominate the ball. And it's very rare that he's sprinting to get back in behind. It's when we play the likes of Liverpool or PSG or United, where the team has loads of pace and he relies on that. So if Kyle Walker does slowly start to lose a little bit of that pace, I don't think you're going to see a massive drop-off in performance. So in my opinion, I would look at giving him a 1 year contract extension. I think he deserves a contract extension with how he's played at Manchester City over the years. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. I think he's been one of the Premier League's greatest ever right backs. And I will defend that stance. I will clash anyone that disagrees. And yeah, for me, I would be looking at extending the contract by a year, and he'll be 35 at the end of that year, at the end of the contract then, and then we can assess where we're at then.
I don't think you'll find anyone who'll disagree with the fact that Kyle Walker's been one of the Premier League's greatest ever right backs. I think it'd be difficult to find someone, and then because he just has.
Oh, trust me, bro. This day and age with social media,
yeah, true.
You'll find a lot.
There'll be someone.
Yeah.
But he's been unreal for City. He's been unreal for City. Do you know what I mean? Barring a few flashes, every so often, he's been unreal, which I'm fine with. I think he gets another year. I think that's just the way that we move with Kyle Walker. I think the future of Kyle Walker, I think we're good, we're healthy in that situation, because he doesn't show signs of dropping off yet. Now, no, it's the only thing that I think this season it's taken him a bit of a while to get back to his best, and I think I was concerned that he wouldn't be able to get back to his best, and that's where we'd assess it. But he's looking good at the moment in time. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with performance levels. The only thing that'd concern me going forward is how frequent these injuries become. We've known Kyle Walker to be solid throughout the season. However, obviously, injuries barring, he got an injury towards the end of last season. Obviously this year, then I'm thinking your injury is going to kind of play a part, and that's where I'd only be looking at as where he'd be that'd concern me in the right back spot. We might need to go get someone else to fill in. But like I say, we have Rico Lewis who's looking really good for the side. So I think we're healthy in the right back spot at this moment in time. It's not a position where I'm looking at going, I need someone there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm looking at his injuries, because the injuries are something that seems to be cropping up a little bit more, which is fair. You know what I mean? The guy's not getting on, you know what I mean? He's still very young. You know what I mean? He's only fucking 4 years older than me. But football-wise, he's getting to that era that maybe he's slowing down a little bit. But his injury record still isn't the worst in the world. The one area that you would say is his, I'm looking at the injuries, is his groin. Back in 2014, he had a groin injury. This is all data, by the way, from Transfermarkt. He had 108 days out with a groin injury in 2014. He then had another 100 days out with groin surgery again in 2014. He had a groin injury in 2018, and his most recent issue, again, according to Transfermarkt data, is another groin injury, 45 days. If you actually look at the other injuries, they're all just like knocks, a few ankle injuries here or there, is what it is. If he can keep that fine, then I think he'll be okay. And I just give him an extra year. One other thing that I would just like to point out here that I'm really looking for from Kyle Walker, and he doesn't have to do this. I don't know if he is doing this, but I would like to see it. I would really like him to take Rico Lewis under his wing. Now, I know that Rico Lewis and Kyle Walker are actually very different in terms of style, in terms of play. But I would really, really like it if Kyle Walker took Rico Lewis under his wing and really helped develop him. Like I said, I know the different style of fullback, but Kyle Walker, you're one of the best fullbacks to ever have played in the Premier League. I want you to take Rico under your wing and really help him develop, because he, right now, looks like he could be the future right back of Manchester City once Kyle Walker goes. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with Kyle Walker and Rico.
You've cleared something up there, bro. That I think was a big question around Kyle Walker, is the fact that when he was going through his flashing phase, now we know what he was doing. He was just showing people his injuries, bro. He's like, this is where I keep getting injured. So he got done for showing where he's getting injured all the time. You know what I mean? The two sides.
On the Rico and Walker thing, when I was thinking about this the other day, actually, and I was thinking, when I look at Rico Lewis play, it almost reminds me a lot of when we first moved Zinchenko to left back. Very similar tendencies. They like to do similar things, you know, getting up the pitch and getting involved in build-up play, which is obviously very different to what Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's a lot more of a traditional right back, but he's like a traditional right back on steroids in the sense of his physical capabilities. But you spoke about offering him a 1-year contract, and is that something Kyle Walker would accept? Do you think he may find that a little bit insulting, considering he's obviously a massive part? He's a massive part of the squad, and he's one of the few remainers left of this big leadership team we have. And if we're going to lose Gundo and Bernardo this summer as well, do you want to potentially lose in the next 12 months another one of your leaders? I know he has expressed interest as well in finishing his career at Sheffield United. Is that something that's on his mind?
Bro, yeah, bro, he'll be 35. If you offer him a 1-year contract, he'll be 35 at the end of the deal. And by the way, I'm not actually saying that at the end of that contract you've done again. If you keep performing well, the club have to protect themselves. And this is what they're going through with Gundogan. They can't just be handing out 2-3 year contracts when players are 33, 34. That's dumb. The player has to look at it from the club's perspective as well. Offer him a 1-year deal. He'll be 35 at the end of that. If he's still good, then he can stay at City, or City don't offer him, he can go to another good club, or he can go to Sheffield United. Sheffield United is still going to take Kyle Walker at 35. Mark my words. At 35 years old, Kyle Walker will still be a top right back. So I think Kyle Walker will be fine with that. I think he'd be silly to just go, oh, you only offer me a 1-year deal. You've got to look at it from the club's point of view. He's going to be 35.
I can see the club offering him a Fernandinho situation. Do you want to give him that year? But then, like, if he reached certain, like, played a certain amount of minutes or whatever it was in the team, then it automatically got extended by another year. I could see them doing something like that with Kyle Walker. So offer him another year, but if you're playing this amount of minutes still, then it'll automatically get extended by another year, because then it shows that he's still playing regularly for Manchester City, so he deserves another year anyway.
There's not really any major concerns about Kyle Walker, really, is there, about performance? Like, when he's fit and when he's been sharp this season, he has looked his best. And I think it's fair to say in this last 10 games that we've been very impressed with in Manchester City, he's been very good when he's been called upon. And any of the major wingers he's had to come up against, you know, pace merchants in the last 2 years, I think it's fair to say he's shown absolutely no signs of struggling with them. So with him, it's about analyzing performance. If his performance, you know, stays the way it is and he continues to bomb the way he always does, there's no real reason to say, right, he's declining and start to look at sort of getting rid of him. But also, we've spoke about a potential system change. And if we do move to a system change and a flat back three, you know, Kyle Walker could do the whole thing of coming with age. He doesn't need to go forward as much and just become an out-and-out right-hand sided defender like he does for England. I think it's an interesting conversation with Kyle Walker.
Just before we finish up, or move on to the next part, there's a couple of points I want to make. There's only 2 times that I see Kyle Walker perform badly, right? One of those times is when you put him in a position that he doesn't want to be, which is basically inverted. I don't think Kyle Walker really likes inverting. You know, he's not as good as Rico Lewis, because I don't think he's as good on the ball as Rico Lewis. I think that's a fair comment.
Nah, guy doesn't have a left foot.
Yeah, and 2, when he's not fit, which is everyone's like that. Every other time, you put him in a standard position, in a standard team, when he's fit, it's very, very rare Kyle Walker will drop a shit show of a performance. Very, very rare. Yeah? And the other thing is, just going to the point that Hugh was making, if City do go to a proper back three, I could quite easily see Kyle Walker playing in that side until he's 37, 38 years old. 100%. That would not come as a shock to me. If we play in that back three and you say to Kyle Walker, yeah, you're going to be that right-sided centre-back, you'll rotate with John Stones. I could quite easily see Kyle Walker, providing he's happy in that position, and providing he's happy doing that rotation with John. So I could quite easily see him playing at Manchester City till he's 37, 38. Because he's an athlete, right? Some players are athletes, some players are not. He's an athlete. Look at him.
Yeah,
the guy's probably ripped, you know? So that's where I'm at with Kyle Walker, man. Top professional.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have
getting that
options.
new contract.
We have options with Kyle Walker. I don't think we're at a point now where we need to make a critical decision, keep or sell kind of thing with Kyle Walker. But it is a conversation we wanted to have. Where do you guys at home leave your comments down below? Where do you see the future of Kyle Walker lying, both positionally and club-wise? Could he stay at Manchester City beyond the next 12 to 24 months? Let us know down below all of your thoughts. And on your way out as well, do please leave a quick like on the video. It massively helps wider audiences find the channel on our road to 75k. I told LB and Jordy Porty I would help them on their pursuit to 75k, so you'd be helping us a lot on that journey. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good night and God bless.